All right, Sam is coming. He is getting himself his cup of coffee, so just 1 second.
Oh, you left it.
Uh-huh, I did. I took care of it for you. Because I'm awesome like that. How do I get there from here? My channel? Trying to find the chat so I can see what people are saying.
It's right there.
Oh, hey, it's right in front of me. You're right. There we go.
Yeah, it looks a little.
There we go. Okay. So, Sam is here now with your cup of coffee. What kind of coffee did you choose for this evening?
I don't know.
Oh, that's right. I picked it for you. I think it's cinnamon bun or something like that.
Okay.
Something good. So, we're going to wait for some more people to join us. Our plan tonight is we're going to talk about kids, in both types of kids. We're going to talk about our new goat babies, and then we're going to talk about having kids and how kind of keep them involved in helping even when they're really little on the homestead, and how we manage to get anything done with lots of little helpers, and just kind of that. And whatever else you guys kind of come up with here, feel free to talk to us in the chat and we can answer some questions if you have any, or
Can you pull that
things like that.
laptop a little closer so I can
Yeah.
see?
How's that?
Yeah.
I will say, for those who have been waiting, because I know I've gotten a couple comments about it, I am currently today working on the sweet sourdough recipe video. So that
Hello,
will be up
Tessa?
this week. So welcome.
Yeah, the sourdough recipe.
Hello. I'm assuming that's Tammy from Tammy's house. So hello. Welcome. So sweet sourdough recipe, I would like to have it up Wednesday. That might be pushing it. It might be Saturday, but it will be up
Hello,
this week.
Diana.
So.
Yeah, we've been able to sample a lot of that sourdough lately. It's been delicious. That stuff is like candy. I like it when it comes out warm. Put a little butter on there and a little honey.
A little butter.
Yep. It's delicious.
It's delicious.
That's my favorite way to eat it. Some butter and honey on the sourdough.
I think
Fresh sourdough.
This week I was going to try using the starter and making cinnamon rolls with it.
Ooh,
See how it comes out.
that sounds good.
So
I guess I'll
In
sample it and let you know.
In 6 months, you're going to tune into Teal House Farm and Sam's going to weigh an extra 100 pounds because of all these
Probably.
things I'm making from the sourdough starter.
It wouldn't surprise me.
Let's see, what else? So, what else has been going on? We've been going to therapy like every day for Annie. So she has therapy 5 times a week for 6 months. It's a huge commitment. That was our biggest, I think probably our biggest drawback about this surgery was how we were going to manage that. That's a lot.
Hello, Silver Moon.
But
it is.
she's working so hard, and she loves therapy, which makes it easier. I'm not at all worried about her not trying her best or just hating the fact that we have to take her to therapy 5 times a week for 6 months. It's more just, make sure meeting the needs of our other kids, and the fact that, living out here on the homestead, therapy's in the city, so that's almost an hour drive each way every day of the week. That's a lot. So, but so far it's going really well.
Yeah, we are thankful for that. Like, if she despised going to therapy, or like every time we tried to take her, she just pitched a fit and was crying and fussing, that would make it difficult. But they're really good with her.
Yeah, one day at a time. That's exactly right. Hey, Super Pup, we are doing great. We are enjoying some warmth from our fire because it was like 75 degrees 2 days ago, and now it's like 20.
Hello, Homestead Nana from Massachusetts, and Jepco. Yeah, and we're supposed to, on Thursday, we're supposed to get some snow, and it could be, I can't remember what the low is, like maybe 15, and we've been having like 70-degree weather, so, which comes to brings us to a important gardening tip.
Never, ever plant before your frost date. Mother Nature is mean. She likes to play games with your mind and make you think.
Learn that the hard way,
Yeah.
over and over.
So don't do it. If you're
Hello,
I
Janice.
think our frost day is like April 21st. And last year, I held off. Even though April, like 15th, 16th, 17th, 18th were all just so nice and warm, I held off. And you know what? April 20th at night, it was 29 degrees.
And
So
then you're running out there with
tarps and whatever,
and
trying to
stuff, trying to
protect it.
cover things, and
So Janice, hey Janice, and Jepco,
Red Shed
Red
is
Shed.
here.
So
Hello, hello.
Holly from the Red Shed tried something new today, and I'm assuming it went well because she's still here. She bought a pressure canner and was trying it for the first time. So I'm guessing that you're here. It didn't do anything dangerous. So great job, Holly.
Yeah, she sent a smile.
Good.
Evening, everyone, with a smile. It must have gone.
So if you have ever
At least
thought
okay.
about pressure canning, but you are scared to start, those horror stories you hear, two things happen. One, people don't follow the safety steps lined up in their manual. They don't check the seals and stuff on their canner. Canner gets worn out and explodes. Or two, people get impatient and try to open their canner before it's cooled all the way down, and again, it explodes. So if you are methodical and follow the safety steps that are set out in the manual for the canner, you will be safe every time, and you don't have to be scared of it.
Hello,
So,
prepped for eternity. It's one of those things, like, just give yourself a method every time. Like, I always do this step, I always do this step, I always do this step. And if you make it, that's how you do it every time, as much as you can, then there's less chance of you.
It's a lot like I would imagine a surgeon who goes into surgeries every day. You have to treat every day like it's the big one with 100% hyper focus, and you're going to do it right every time because it's a person. So do it right every time and you'll be safe. So.
Silver Moon said she had to hold off because of snow.
Wow, after
Whatever.
your last frost. Yeah, that would be a surprise. That would make me mad then if that happened.
Hello, Tina.
Welcome from Wyoming.
Goodness.
So kids. We were going to talk about kids today. Goat kids and kids.
Oh, she says she did a trial run.
It was all good.
It was all good.
Good. Great. So, I don't know. Holly has videos up every now and then, so I don't know if you videoed your first trial run with the canner. But if anybody wants to see somebody try it for the first time and get over those nerves, go keep an eye on Red Shed's channel, see if she's got something coming up. So, hey, Grandpa Dan is here.
Hello.
Go ahead.
What
I was going to say, Grandpa Dan has a cool little solar-powered homestead-ish in his suburban property. I think we have a video of it. If you search Grandpa Dan's Homestead, it'll show up on our channel. If any of you live in suburbia and curious how you can get things done with an HOA breathing down your neck, Grandpa Dan's got it pretty cleverly figured out. So.
Hi, Brenda.
Okay, so kids. So
the
talk
baby
about
goat
the goats.
kids.
Yeah.
So we have two. If you've seen the last few videos, we have Lulu, which is our baby goat, our doe. She was all by herself. And then we went and bought a little buckling, and Laura picked out his name. It's Victor. And he's older, but he's a Nigerian dwarf, so they're actually about the same size.
You know why
even
I
though
named him Victor?
Why?
Because he seems sophisticated. He's pretty sleek looking.
Yeah.
But he's pretty mischievous and naughty. And that just seemed like a Victor.
A Victor, okay. He is. So we actually put them together yesterday?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, yesterday for the first time. They're doing really well together. I think they're both happier. We had them quarantined for about a week. Victor, when we got him, had a little bit of a snotty nose. And I know probably most people wouldn't have bought him because of that. But he was also the cheapest buckling we could find around here. He's about half the cost of most of the other ones. So we basically just gave him some vitamins and minerals and tried to put a little bit more of a pep in his step. And snotty nose is gone. He's for a few days there. He's doing great. So we put him together, and they're getting into stuff together. Mm-hmm. But it's been good.
It's been good. Take me to Tammy's house. Do you raise goats for milk? Yes, partially. Mm-hmm. Right now we can't keep a lot of the milk because we have two goats that need. 2 bottle-fed goats right now.
We could get formula.
We could. It's free, though, just to milk mama goat and feed them. But I have made a couple, like, chai tea lattes and stuff from the goat milk. It's delicious. I hope this time around, I want to learn how to make goat milk soap. So that's my goal. I've made cheese with it before, so...
Dee Dee has a pressure canning story.
Dee Dee, I'm going to say your dad probably didn't check his seals correctly. Is probably what happened. Though I'm glad I'm assuming everybody was okay. They really can be, that's That's a 20-pound missile blowing up.
Yeah,
I mean, so
hit the deck.
you gotta take your safety precautions.
No, our goats are Nubians, are most of the does that we've had, but our buck is a Saanen. They're a big white milk breed. But we decided to go we're gonna use Victor as a breeding buck. Once he gets a little older and a little bit bigger here in a few months, we'll separate the bucks and the does together.
So why are you? What you want to explain why we're breeding our large goat to Victor? Like what our goal is?
Well, okay. Half of it is I've always thought about doing breeding the Nigerian dwarf with our Nubians, just because then you get a smaller adult goat. I think Laura and the girls might enjoy that. I think, and I've always been interested in the Nigerian dwarf because they're really good milk producers for their size. They're really pretty small, but they produce milk and it's high in the butterfat content too. So I've always been interested in them, but part of it was just practicality too. This lady was really close and she had a good deal on him, so.
That's true. That's
true. It was kind of
think...
something we've been interested in, but also, also practical.
Hello, blessed mama. Welcome. I do think the size, I'm hoping, so our son and especially the male Devo, I mean, it's a big goat. You know, especially I don't really like getting in and mess with him because he's kind of overweight too, so he's just a big guy. And I mean, our smaller kids just don't feel comfortable around him at all with helping with him, even though he's a very gentle goat. So we're hoping maybe a smaller goat help introduce them more to goats so they can help more and feel more comfortable and less intimidated by the size.
And the lady we bought the goats from, she uses her Nigerian dwarfs for milk, and she had 5 or 6.
Thank you, Judah, for a blanket for this cute. I'm gonna knit the goat a sweater. Thank you.
Thanks, Judah. What was I gonna say? Oh, so she had like 6 bucklings we could choose from. She had like 4 or 5 younger ones that were, 4 weeks old, 5 weeks old now, 6 weeks, pushing 6 weeks. And then she had a couple that were a little older, like a few months old. But one of the reasons we did choose Victor, because we know he's going to be around the family a lot, is he was the friendliest goat she had. Ivy, I took Ivy with me, and she was petting all the bucklings, and a lot of them were just running away and didn't really want too much to do with her, but he was really, really friendly. And so I do feel like on a family farm, at least for us, that's kind of important, especially kind of leading into our other discussion point for tonight. If you're going to have kids helping, it's good to have animals that, you don't ever want to leave your kids 100% alone until they get older, but an animal that you can kind of trust isn't just going to try and
kick somebody.
Yeah, beat the snot out of your kid every time they go into the pen or something like that.
So Grandpa Dan wants to know where you can get more of Ivy Joe's famous apple jelly. So I can send you some more apple jelly. But I am making a new batch of spiced pear jam. So I have a video of that coming up, and I know that's Grandpa Dan's favorite. So spiced pear jam is good on bread like jam, but it's also excellent on some grilled pork chops.
Almost
pretty much anything you can put spiced pear jam on, and it's
We've had a lot
delicious.
of friends. Well, we've had a decent amount of friends over that have that spiced pear jam, and they almost always ask, they're like, "You don't happen to have like a little jar I can take with me, do you?"
So we're making some more.
The spiced pear jam that's probably one of my favorite things as far as like the fruit stuff that Laura cans. Oh, it's so good.
So Holly at the Red Shed said, goats scare me. They seem high maintenance from seeing other channels. They need wormed a lot and such. What do you say to that?
I think they can be high maintenance. I think it depends what you want them for and what kind of breeds you get. We have had issues with worming, but I feel like it's kind of like with almost any animal you'd get. After a little while, you kind of figure out a system and what works and what kind of wormer you should use, because it'll be different for different areas. What works best for you and where you keep them, that's a big deal too. How you keep their sheds and their fields and stuff, that's a big deal. But there are some goats that are, like I would say, our buck Devo, like I gotta trim his toes, like, and that's about it. Like, he's pretty darn hardy. He gets wormed, but like he's fat and sassy. He's too fat. He needs
He's
to go
kinda
on a
overweight.
diet. He's chubby.
He's been eating with the pregnant lady. That's the problem. The pregnant goat got grain, and Devo kept stealing it.
But yeah, so they can be a little bit high maintenance. But the nice thing about goats is you can really handle them. So if one's stuck, at least for having a small homestead, like we don't have a tractor or anything like that. So if a goat is stuck, or if you need to move a goat, like you can literally pick them up or
Right.
or pull them out of a ditch or whatever it is. If a cow gets stuck, like you can't just manhandle a cow a lot of times. You might have to get a little bit creative. So I think that's for a small homestead. That's kind of the nice thing about
So
goats.
Prep for Eternity says our Nubian goats have always been more calm and friendly, and our Nigerian have been more feisty. I don't know. Our Nubian, she's a diva. I'm sorry. Uhura and
She
I don't
is.
really like each other sometimes.
Yeah, she's a diva. She's also, I feel like the Nubians are really vocal goats too. Like and maybe it's just the difference between bucks and does, but like our buck, Devo, he barely makes a peep ever. Like, I swear I could, and it doesn't matter. Like even when he needs things, like he could be out of water or hay or something like that, and he won't make a peep. But our doe, Uhura, every time this back door opens, she's out there yelling, and it doesn't matter if she has all the food, water, grain, fresh bedding, like everything. She's like, "Ma!" You're like,
I know.
You have everything. You're living in the goat palace right now.
Here's the
She'll
problem.
still yell at you.
I'm in the house, and the kids are like, Mom, 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 Mom. And I'm like, I'm going to go outside and get a moment. And then as soon as you step foot out the door, that goat's like, Mom, Mom,
And it sounds-
Mom. Just as loud as she can.
It always sounds so desperate too. It's not like a meh. It's like ma, ma. You're like, is she dying? They're okay. I felt like I missed another question.
I will say at the end of that question, yes, the Nigerian dwarf, he does seem to be pretty feisty, which is why I named him Victor, because he's very fast and just kind of into stuff. So
Spanish goats are supposed to be pretty sturdy. There are some meat goats like the
Grab more
Kiko
water.
goats.
Be right back.
There's another breed of meat goat. I forget which it is, but they're really hardy. Like, some of those people claim you can just throw them in a pasture that has a pond and they'll take care of themselves. Like, you almost don't even have to worm them or anything. They're really hardy. Judah had a question. How do you make a judgment on when a child is ready for more responsibility, age, milestones, or maturity? Ooh, that's a good question. I don't know.
Well, in the kitchen, a lot of it just comes with age, and like, so Isla is 2, so right now she just now is allowed to maybe help while I'm cooking on the stove. Like, actually, I have a video. We tried it about a month ago. I was making some jam, and she showed that, very clear boundaries. You stand here, you do this, and she couldn't stay on task long enough, so she doesn't get to help. We'll try it again in another couple months.
But one thing she does get to do, one way that you can kind of like teach them.
Yeah, no, I would say I gave her a cold pot with water in it and put some sugar in it, and she mixed her pancakes is what she was doing, but so she didn't get to actually help with the actual cooking because she wasn't able to meet the boundaries.
But like one chore she can do or does help with is like dishes, and when she's at the sink, she's not really washing dishes all that great, but she's in there playing and having fun. Maybe she can rinse dishes or help rinse them a little bit, but I think you just kind of do that, like dip your toe in the water a little bit and see if they handle it well. Like if we put her up there and she's actually like really careful with the plastic cups and plates that you give her, and she's doing a good job either trying to wash them or rinse them or whatever, then you can work with glass things or
and I think I teach all the girls, they learn how to cook on the stove really young. They learn how to cut with knives by the time they're 3.5 or 4, and then once they've learned those things, and I know that they can do those well, as far as trusting them to listen when they're out helping with animals, like I don't really have that concern because we've practiced listening and being safe inside.
And it's like I feel like everything's that way. before they get to help with everything outside, like they do little bits and pieces. So like when we bring in wood for the wood stove, like even Isla, who's 2, can come out there and help, but I give her a little stick, and that's what she brings in and puts into the wood pile. But they're learning. It's not something that's hard, and like Laura said, you see how good she does following directions. Same thing with like if they help me feed, one thing I'll have the little ones do that's easy and they enjoy doing is like filling up the water buckets. Like you just have to hold the hose in there.
Right.
And sometimes they just play and they make puddles and they do not fill up the water buckets. But a lot of times they will actually sit there for the 30 seconds it takes to fill the buckets or whatever. And they do a good job helping. But
I think in general, kids are capable of doing a lot more than we give them credit for. It's when they're little, they lack the self-control or the impulse control to always stay on task, and that's really what when they're being, quote unquote bad, they're not really being bad. They're just so excited about helping that their brain's going everywhere. And so by letting them help with little things first, then working your way up, you're teaching them to have the impulse control and the self-control to stay on task. But little kids are capable of a lot, and I think sometimes we sell them short. And they do need help, and that slows everything down, which can get frustrating if you're in a hurry or something. But once they learn how to do it, like the older 2, when they help me cook or help me, with a lot of things, it genuinely makes it go faster, which is nice because they know how to help and they're old enough to be actual helpers. So.
I know we're bouncing back and forth a little bit here, but we had all the comments about the Nubians being mouthy, and that I know this is like totally opposite. We went with the Nigerian dwarf, but I had also thought about getting more Saanen does because Devo's so laid back and chill. Our buck, like, he doesn't care. Like, he's not loud. Like, excuse me. He doesn't freak out about stuff. Like, he's pretty easygoing. I thought about getting some Saanen does, but anyway.
No, and Judah said, LOL, our 7-year-old still lacks self-control. Just tonight before we got on here, Micah and I were going around about something. Like, she just made a dumb choice. There's no other way to say it. It wasn't anything horrible. She made a dumb choice in something that she decided to do in the house, which she knows she's not allowed to do in the house. And so, sometimes even big kids, that's just part of being a kid, and you have to be reminded what the boundaries are and what you are and aren't allowed to do. And hopefully by the time they're adults, they have enough self-control to make patient and reserved decisions.
I will say with all of our girls too, like every single one of them, they want to do what mom and dad are doing. Like they think if they get to do adult things, like that is so cool. And they might not stick with it the whole, 30 minutes or an hour that it takes, but they at least want to try for a lot of things. They really, if we say, I'm going to go do this, who wants to help? And it's a big person thing. It's not putting your laundry away or something.
It's always funny too, because he'll say, Ivy, come, why don't you come help me? And they're all excited. Oh yeah, I'm gonna go get my boots. And then whoever is 2 at the time, it's always the 2-year-old. You hear him come like run whatever corner of the house they were. I get my boots. I get my boots. Even though it's not their, because helping is exciting. And then they're always devastated because a lot of times it's something that they can't really come help with, especially with the animals. They can't be running around being loud, at that age. So.
Well, a lot of times when they're 2 and they're outside, they don't listen very well at all.
They're just excited.
But we do try and get them to help as much as possible.
So what kind of things? Oh, my youngest struggles with following directions. 7-year-old gets distracted easily. And every kid's different too. I think that's been the hardest thing to figure out. I feel like as parents,
yeah, that's true.
How to get everybody where they developmentally need to be as adults, I guess, is what your long-term goal is. And they're so different. I mean, Micah and Ivy are black and white personality-wise,
yeah,
and so
totally different.
What we have done with Micah does not work at all with Ivy. But you want them to learn the same skills and be successful in life, so it's always a challenge.
Jess and I will watch your vids. He's so impressed. Mom and Daddy went to college with celebrities. I got
recognized the first time. I think it's probably the first time in public that somebody recognized me, and it was kind of weird and it was kind of cool, but I mean, our channel is still pretty small. I mean,
Yeah.
they're, if you spread it out across the entire population of the world that has access to the video, like the odds of running into somebody who's watched your video is pretty minute. But that was kind of cool.
We had a guy once. We went to a Mother Earth news fair in, was it Topeka, Kansas? And we're standing there. I can't remember if we were trying to decide where to go next, what to do. And a guy just kind of like slid up next to us. He's like, "Hey, I watch your channel." And we're like, "Oh, cool. Thanks, man. That's awesome." He's like, "Yep." And that's like all he said.
Yeah.
He was just like, "Yeah, that's pretty fun." We're like, "Yeah, yeah." That was kind of it. He moseyed off.
Yeah, Holly says how two parents can produce so many different personalities in one kid. In kids, yeah. Holly knows too. I think Holly, do you have 9 or 10 children? I can't remember. I know it's more than us. But every one of them's different. There's no copy paste, even though they look like copy pastes, personality wise.
It is kind of funny though. I feel like as they get older, you can see some of them like, like some of them are just like the kids that are a little more chill, and some of them are the ones that have little stronger personalities, and like, this is things got to be ordered for them a little bit more or whatever.
I feel like you can tell though, even when they're a baby, who's going to be like super type A and who's going to be really laid back as a older kid.
Yeah.
Excuse me. By the time they're 6 months, their little personality kind of comes out.
Right.
Excuse me.
12. Oh man.
Oh.
All completely. She's doubled us.
You've doubled us. That's awesome though.
Jeez. All completely different. Yep.
That's why we're so tired.
Well, she's twice as tired as we are.
I know, twice as tired as we are.
How old's your oldest?
Yeah, you said your youngest is 7, so what's the age range?
That's a good question for him.
I love watching your family too are wonderful parents. Well, thank you very much, Tessa. Those babies, I think the babies are adorable too.
They're pretty cute.
I think it's funny too when you have a baby, just that mother's love. You get these like rose-colored glasses. You're like, this is the most beautiful baby I've ever seen. And then like a year later, you look back at this baby picture of this scrunchy-faced old man, and you're like, that was not a good-looking baby. It's 12. Yeah. They do. I mean, we try to keep real life. Sometimes I edit videos if there's a lot of screaming.
Yeah,
and yelling, because they're loud.
On YouTube, you can make life look how you want, just about on YouTube.
They have their arguments, but they really do enjoy helping and are really good helpers. Youngest is 7, oldest is 26, so about 20 years. So that's cool.
That is cool. That's impressive. Congratulations.
All I'm going to say is, in about 10 years, you're going to need to rent like a stadium for Christmas or whatever. You're going to have so many kids and grandkids.
That's true.
So, sounds like she had 13.
13. Jeez.
We learned Sam's, would have been your great grandma, had 14 children. Is that your great grandma? They lived in like a 2-room shack.
No, I think they had 12.
In like the Ozarks, Missouri.
Yeah, they had 12.
But she had lots that didn't make it too. So she had basically had a baby since she was like 15 or 16 every other year until she couldn't have babies anymore.
Yeah, it was like that classic like
hillbilly.
Yeah, they had, a whole bunch of them in like a one room cabin kind of thing.
But there's a picture that his dad has of the family, and they're all lined out in front of their garden, and it is like, it's huge, and it's like immaculate, because you could tell that
big garden. It's not just. It's like it looks like a 2-acre garden,
yeah.
like home
not a
garden.
weed to be seen. You know that garden. It wasn't just I'm going to garden because I enjoy gardening and putting things up. It was if we don't garden, we don't eat.
It was perfect.
Perfect.
Yeah, absolutely perfect. There. Let's see. Oh, oldest is 27, youngest is 9.
It's prep for eternity. How many are in that span? Is it a large family as well?
I'm the youngest of 14.
Wow.
Takes me back to my childhood.
Holly, so Aunt Holly says they had total 21,
lived.
but only 12 lived. That's incredible. That's also very sad.
It is sad.
Makes you thankful to live today, where they can help you.
Yeah, you wonder how many could have made it with,
modern medicine.
Modern medicine, if they were closer to a hospital and such.
Yeah, I think there's a difference, and I wish my garden was better, but I think even me, I love to garden and put things up, but I don't have that sense of dire urgency that I'm sure our grandparents and great grandparents had when it came to keeping their garden. you had to keep
Yeah.
your plants alive. Like there was no whoops, the drought got my tomatoes this year, but that's okay because I'll just go to the store and buy tomatoes.
No,
Like,
you're stuck. My grandparents' garden was perfect. A friend of mine was one of 21 children.
Wow. Okay, so Judah says, you can't tell me you don't joke about reenacting Sound of Music or anything of the like. So, funny story, our pastor showed a clip from Sound of Music, the one where he blows the whistle and all the kids run down the stairs. And I hadn't seen the Sound of Music since I was little. We used to watch it at my grandma's house. And I remember being little and thinking, wow, that family has so many kids. And so when we were watching this clip that went somehow with his sermon of him blowing the whistle and the kids running down the stairs, I literally was like, there got to be like 12 kids coming, right? There were only 7, and they all lined up, and I was like, that's it? I remember that family being really big when I was little, but they only have 7.
Perspective
changes.
We have 5-10-year break between. Thought we were done.
But God said different. It's all right. I think we aren't, I mean, our kids are all close together. We talk sometimes, like we know people that have kids that are really spaced apart, and I imagine the challenge that it would be to think you were done and your kids are independent and you're moving on to that next phase of life. You know, right now, every time we have a baby, it's just like, well, we already got some in diapers. We're already juggling nap times. But, you know, having a kid who was 10, you know, and then realizing you're going to go back to that craziness that is newborns and toddlers, like that would be a big challenge.
Mm-hmm. Have your cover of House That Built Me on my music playlist? Aw, thank you. I've actually... this last week was thinking about recording another song because I haven't done that in a long time, but I gotta find a quiet space and it almost does not exist.
Not anymore.
Actually, a lot of the songs I recorded, I went to church to do that because I could usually find a little bit of time there to do it, but thank you. That's nice of you.
When I see other people come into a restaurant or something and count their kids, I'm like, wow, they have 6, 7. And then I'm like, oh, wait. I always think it's funny, too, when people stop me. Like, we got stopped at the store today, and I had 4. And they're like, oh, my goodness, you have your hands full up. And I was like, oh, man, today was an easy day. I only had 4 with me. So, do I still have my French horn? Yes, I do, Judah, but I have not played it in several years.
When we first moved here, you played
I used to play in Jefferson City Orchestra, but
community orchestra.
With everything, we had Annie, and then I had to basically let it go because I just couldn't do another thing and take care of all her needs. I hope one day, you know, I've kept it, and I miss playing, and I know at some point everyone will be older and need less from me, and then maybe I'll go back to playing community band or orchestra. But right now, there's just. Even if I had time to do the night rehearsals, I wouldn't have time to practice during the week, and you got to give your best when you're part of a group. So
when we first graduated college, and even after you got your master's, you still played in a lot of places.
I played a lot.
Yeah, you still played quite a bit.
So
you're still pretty involved.
Gracefield, hey, welcome. Thanks for joining us.
I feel like they have 2 sets of kids sometimes.
Yeah. Sam's grandma had kids, and then
good night, Red Shed. Thanks for popping in.
Appreciate kind of space apart, and she kind of said the same thing. Kind of like having 2 families because your kids are all grown up, but then you're starting over. So So what do we still got to talk?
I don't know. We talked about the goat kids and our plan for them.
Oh, we never got around to though. Like, what sort of things do the kids do outside with the animals and stuff? What kind of chores?
What do they help?
Yeah.
Oh, the older girls can pretty much help with everything. Even the one thing I haven't pushed them on this year yet that I've.
Good night, Judah. Thanks for coming.
Night, Judah. Thanks for popping in. We appreciate it. The older girls can pretty much do everything themselves. Now, if it was, if we've got a big water trough that needs to be emptied or something like that, they can't do that. But a daily chore, they can do just about anything except for milking the goats. They've done that in the past and helped me. We had them on a real consistent schedule, and Micah could pretty much milk the goats by herself. But I've not been having them do that with me lately. Because of having the 2 jobs, I don't have 2 hours to have them help me with chores and just, take my time and let them help. I'm usually trying to run out the door. So I'm milking the goats, and they'll help with some of the.
They
other
always
things.
check for eggs. They help with the watering, and they help bottle feed the baby goats all the time.
They're really enjoying that, actually. Yeah. And tonight, like for the first time, we've never had them really process the milk much. No, tonight, this morning when we milked, I had Micah and Ivy. They're gonna start taking turns filtering the milk and putting it away. They've not really done that side of the milking yet. So Micah did it this morning. She filtered the milk, marked it, and put it away. And I'm gonna help Ivy with that tomorrow.
Off the subject, Sam, but do you have plans to buy a tractor?
Oh, maybe in a few years. Not right now. We have other plans.
Basically, as like a pinup of his John Deere dreams.
At some point.
We would like to. It would help a lot, but it's definitely not only the expense of buying a tractor, but tractors need a lot of maintenance and upkeep. Yeah. So.
And I feel like I've learned my lesson here with some of our other projects and stuff. Like before I get a tractor, like I want to have a nice place to keep it and a shop that I can work on it. That would be really. Those are kind of what you call hashtag goals. But I would like to have a decent setup before we get a tractor. A nice place to try and maybe cover some of the implements and stuff that come with it if I can. Keeping that stuff covered will make it last so much longer. You don't have to. A lot of people keep it outside, and that's fine. But man, if I could, I'd love to be able to keep some of that stuff covered and have a spot for it before we get one.
Joni says, I was the middle child of 7. I loved being in a large family, and I wish my mom had been able to stay home and care for us.
I was the oldest of 7.
So, I do staying home is very I've had to learn how to be happy. I did not enjoy staying home at the beginning when I first started staying home when we only had 1 or 2 children. But I didn't know how. You
read a couple of books.
I read some books that really helped me. I didn't know how to be successful. They don't when you go to school and stuff, you're taught how to be a good corporate worker kind of thing, out in the world, member of society kind of thing. You're not really taught the skills you need to be a successful homemaker and to be content and joyful in your homemaking. So that has been a very long journey. And now, we were just talking the other day about what our future would look like. Sam's job changed. Do I ever think I want to go back to work or anything? And I don't know that. At least not while they're little. I like what I'm doing now, and I'm very content at home. So, but I say all that to say, if you're watching this and you're like, I'm staying home with the kids, and and I don't like it. Some of it's personality. Maybe you're just not meant to, but a lot of it is learned skills and skills that we absolutely were not taught growing up. I think our generation got short-shafted a little bit in the sense that we didn't really, a lot of us didn't see our parents parent, so we feel very lost in how to parent. So things like that. That was a long shoot. I guess we could do a whole live stream about that. I could talk about that all day. Something I'm passionate about now. Let's see. Jepco says, I do microgreens as a side hustle. Have you looked into microgreens as a great food source and possibly passive income? So I have grown microgreens just for us. I never really thought about it as passive income. We don't have, where we live, we've talked about doing things for farmers markets and stuff, but to get somewhere to sell enough goods to make a profit, it's a long haul, and we're not in a good location, enough population to be able to sell. If that was our goal, we would really need to live closer to a larger city. Mm-hmm.
Gail's bookish thing says, who has the cutest kids of all the Griggs siblings?
Oh, well, Gail, that's definitely baby Titus right there. So
we'll say baby Titus in front of the camera, but
you know the truth.
Actually, all the Griggs siblings have very cute babies. They just have those little cheeks you want to squeeze and pinch. Really cute babies.
That's awesome, Joni. Some women are absolutely incredible, juggling multiple jobs and was still able to spend time with their children. So there are some incredible moms out there who are working outside of the home. Mm-hmm.
Holly C says greetings from Connecticut.
Yes, hello.
Thanks for popping in.
My home state.
Let's see. Yeah, all the Griggs kids are beautiful. Thank you, Aunt Holly.
Let's see.
You're a great role model for moms who stay at home.
Well, thanks.
You said the one thing that kind of changed for you was looking a lot of I guess you can say the world, it kind of like downplays a stay-at-home mom, like almost like you're. I don't want to say you're not as important, but it's not as an important job.
You feel like a button pusher. I'm gonna push the button on my washing machine, push the button on my
But
dishwasher.
I think you said one thing that changed for you was like almost looking at it kind of like a job.
Yeah.
Like, this is what I get up and I do every day. Like that's what helped you a little bit.
I had a friend that said once she worked as a nanny, and she says she brought the same mindset when she had her own kids. She's like, if I hired somebody to do my job, to be my nanny, what would I expect out of them? And that's what I need to expect for myself, for my kids. And just kind of having goals for the day, you know, realizing you're not just babysitting
It's
your
not
kids,
just
you're raising kids,
just,
you know.
Yeah. Trying to like maintain everything, but actually trying to,
Silverman says they need to bring home economics back into schools. I think we're missing opportunity. I don't know, we talked about this before. Some of it's like our school days are just so long, you know, kids don't have the opportunity to learn from their parents. But I do understand that not every child has a happy home to go back home to.
Mm-hmm.
But I know, you know, talking to your grandma, like she would go to school in the morning and then she would come home for like 2 hours in the afternoon and then go back to school, you know, and would help her mom make lunch and stuff like that. So, Gracefield says, off subject, but my homestead goal is a wooden stove. I'm happy with everything else you're going on away. Rabbits may be good too.
Yeah, we want to get rabbits. We just need to do it.
Yeah.
They don't really take. They're one of the. As far as starting out, rabbits. It's not like you gotta drop $1,000 to get started with rabbits. They're pretty cheap to get going with.
We were gonna start rabbits, and then the girls started arguing about whose rabbits they would be. And then we just got tired and decided we didn't feel like fighting that fight right now, so we have not got rabbits yet.
You know, probably one of them's like, well, I want a black rabbit. No, I want the black rabbit. And we're like, oh my goodness.
Well, and you have to get 2 does and a boy, and nobody wants the boy. They want to have a girl rabbit. I mean, you know, if you have 2 girl rabbits, you don't have baby rabbits. So nobody wants to take care of the boy rabbit. So
I think we'll figure something out eventually. But and you said you want a wood stove. They are really nice. We've decided that we will always have a wood stove. We might upgrade at some point, but we will always have a wood stove.
We never have to worry about cost of electricity or, you know.
Yeah, your power goes out in the winter. You're like,
you can still cook. You
can still heat water up and stuff like that.
ZC, why rabbits pets? Well, sometimes. A lot of people also raise rabbits for meat. I don't think I've ever eaten rabbit. It's more common. I'd say out here where we live, I wouldn't say you go buy a rabbit at the grocery store, but
you can go to the farm store and they have them. They're easy to find, and they're easy to butcher.
Is it considered a white meat?
Yeah, I think it's like kind of like chicken. Well, maybe I'm wrong about that. I probably shouldn't have said that.
We're not sure. We haven't raised them yet, though. We don't know.
I have had rabbit a few times. I don't know. I liked it.
But a lot of people raise them because they grow quickly, and you get as far as like starting with 2 rabbits, the cycle is.
Oh, I can't remember.
It's quick, so you can grow your farm quickly.
I mean, you don't want to take advantage of your rabbits because they will breed, as quick as possible. But I can't remember if it was. One doe can raise 500 pounds of meat in a year or something like that. Like, it's crazy how it kind of depends on what breed you have and such, but they can give you some meat for sure.
Silvermoon says my breeder rabbits are pets, their babies will be meat. So I'm gonna have to come over, Silvermoon, and see what rabbit videos you have, because I think we're definitely gonna do it sooner rather than later, because we're already set up for them. I need to learn a little bit more before we do. So
let's see. I miss Terry's. What I see with you and your children is an amazing amount of independence in terms of skills without turning the older kids into mini moms raising and caretaking for the younger siblings.
Yeah, that's something I would say a lot of the negative things I hear about large family is that, like you just have your older kids so that they'll raise your younger kids for you. I don't think in most large families, at least that I've met in real life, I think it happens, but I don't think that happens as often as people think it does. And our children genuinely enjoy. Little kids are fun and they're cute and they're so happy and they think you're the most awesome thing that you're like awesome sauce when you're a big sister. And so our older kids love playing with the little kids. they're not like forced to watch.
And we
them.
like, if we're honest, like there are times.
Good night, Jepco. Thanks for stopping by.
There will be times where we'll be like, "Hey, Micah, I need you to hang on to Isla while we're out here milking the goat, because I don't want her to touch the electric fence or whatever it is." And like, she's fine for 2 minutes, whatever chore we're doing, keeping an eye on her little sister. So sometimes they do help in that regard. But
Grace says the rabbits are for the compost. Yep, and the kids would
Josiah's
love
mom
them.
said rabbit meat is delicious. Aunt Holly says it tastes like chicken.
I know you bought them at the store. See, so I've never seen them at the store, but we also don't live quite as far in the country as I think Aunt Holly does. So. Silver Moon, I don't really have, I just started out myself. Well, Silver Moon put some videos up and I will watch them. Watch from somebody else. So, we said good night, and my oldest sister loved little kids. She was great. It's just different, and I think if you're not around a lot of large families or in a large family, like, I think it's easy to judge what's going on just from seeing snippets, but it's not, I don't know, it's just different.
I mean, honestly, our kids are young enough right now that we probably don't have much experience on that. When Mike is 16, like, I don't know, we can have her watch everybody.
Don't know.
We don't have that much experience with it because Mike is not old enough to just be like, here, take all the kids. Like, wait. So I don't know.
Do we have any? Let's see. It's almost been an hour, so we could. Do you have any other things you want to add up, and we can? With us, we try to teach it's more of a team effort.
Yes,
that's 100% prep for eternity.
We say that all the time to the girls. A lot of times, that's one of my go-to responses. If they complain about a chore or it's their turn to do a chore, it's like, listen, this is your chore, and if we don't have you as the team, like, we're gonna be hurting today. And I know it's not a fun chore, but like, somebody's got to do it. And yesterday so and so did it, and but everybody's got to pull their weight.
Well, I think one of the biggest benefits from like having a lot of kids, they learn a sense, I don't know if selflessness, maybe it's more like interdependence, but like, it takes everybody to make it work. Like, the bigger kids will help buckle little kids in the car. I can do it all. I'll do it all. But they know if they don't want to take 20 minutes to get, from leaving the house into the van and actually leaving the driveway, they help. And it goes faster, and they want to get where we're going. Yeah. They don't want it to take forever for mommy to buckle everybody. Yeah. So they help. Or when we get there, they help unbuckle people.
Or help put coats on kids and stuff like that.
They learn that, teamwork makes the dream work.
Yeah,
so
it's very true.
And that's important. That's an important life lesson, like, that when we work together, we get farther than we can alone.
Yeah, I feel like it really is important, though, on the homestead. Like, if people don't pull their weight, then, you're not going to have...
You can't just walk away and leave the gate open. Like,
somebody's got to feed the chickens. You can't just be like, I don't like that chore today. Everybody's got to do their part that day. It helps with the girls too, that they get to rotate chores usually. So that's not that big of a deal for them.
And their chores, whatever it is, never takes them more than 20 or 30 minutes. 20 minutes. They're not doing chores all day. They have lots of time to play. So they're not out here slaving with a toothbrush scrubbing the bathroom floor. So
thanks, blessed mama.
And thanks for stopping by.
They do what was I gonna say? Oh, sometimes they will help outside if I have a big project going on, or if Laura has a big project, they'll help with that. But yeah, daily chores are pretty short. Yeah. They're pretty manageable. And
with big projects, we kind of let them come and help, and then go off, and then come back and help. You don't have to. You don't get trapped into helping the whole time. Otherwise, that makes helping not fun, and it discourages them from helping.
They're so young. We don't tell them like, you got to be here for 4 hours till we get this done. Yeah, it's as they want to help, they'll pop in and out.
All right. Good night, Grandpa Dan.
Good night, Grandpa Dan.
There'll be some jelly coming your way, and this time I will bubble wrap it better so it doesn't explode in the box.
Thanks for hopping on, jumping in the chat. How long have we been homesteading?
Well, it depends on your definition of homesteading. We've been trying
As
to
old as
live.
Annie's here.
Yeah, we've
Has
been
around,
living here as
basically.
old as Annie is, and she's almost 6.
We talked about that a couple streams ago, didn't we?
Yeah.
We moved here like 2 weeks before she was born.
Yep. We did.
The main thing that was holding us back when we first moved into this house was the bathroom, the toilet. You had pretend where Laura's sitting is the clawfoot tub, and the toilet was right here next to it.
Well, and then there was a big hole. The clawfoot tub was literally standing on 2 joists because the floor was so rotted because they had a roof leak that they hadn't fixed, and it had just been eating away. And there was no running water in the house.
Yeah, and
well pump was broken,
the bathroom had a hole to the outside about this big. Like you could just whatever animal could fit through a hole this big come right into the house, and the water from the clawfoot tub had eroded away all of the subfloor. Like you could just put your finger straight from the floor into the basement. So we had to pull up all the subfloor and replace those floor joists. And we got that done 2 weeks before
the baby
came.
And which was really close because it was like she was a week and a half late. So we basically were moving on my due date. So.
But we did it.
How old is...
Did you push with her in the tub?
Yeah, I had Annie in that
Yeah.
huge clawfoot tub.
That's right.
So, and I always say this because I feel like people are really judgmental when they hear that I had her at home and she's got medical issues. That the issues that she had happened while I was pregnant, but we didn't know about them until after she was born because I hadn't had a, 36 week. If I had an ultrasound at 36 week, which is now normal now, but wasn't normal 5 years ago, we would have known that what was wrong with Annie, what was going on. But her birth had absolutely nothing to do with her.
Well, her birth, she didn't have any trauma
Yeah.
at birth either.
Yeah,
so.
we didn't realize until she was several months old that there's something different about Annie. And we would have known had I had that ultrasound, but it wouldn't have changed anything about the birth.
Yeah,
it just affected her
way
development.
Before. Let's see, we had Silver Moon wants her jelly.
Silver Moon, well, if you watch the video coming up, you can make it at home. It's very easy. So, take me Tammy's house. I love your house. And ZC says too, when was the home built? 1897, and it was.
I thought was it 97?
Yeah.
Okay,
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, 1897 was the first part, and then it was completed in 1908. Is that the second part?
Mm-hmm. They did it in like 3 or 4 sections. Basically, they built like the big rectangle, and then they added on one piece of the kitchen. Then they added on another piece of the kitchen, and then they added on the kind of mudroom extension.
And we were able to find the original deed at the Historical Society, and we know that they borrowed $6,000 to build this house, and that they paid it off in 5 years.
Paid off his house in 5 years. That's pretty impressive.
So, we don't know. I would assume $6,000 is probably pretty close to what it costs to build the house. I mean, I don't know how much cash he put down himself, but so no judging here. Thank you, Tessa. I get really fired up about that because somebody told me that once, that it was my fault, and they had absolutely no idea about anything that was wrong, what medically was going on. They just assumed, and we had a very successful, very safe home birth, had multiple home births, had multiple hospital births,
Yeah, Holly says her house was built in 1910. That's one of the reasons we wanted to move here. It kind of reminded Laura of home, because in Connecticut, where she grew up, they have homes from the 1600s and 1700s back there. So it kind of reminded her of home, living in an older house.
Marisa Davis, welcome. Thanks for joining us. I will say the laid back and easygoing comes from Sam. I'm not naturally a laid back and easygoing person, but after 13 years of marriage, so how it's been, he's rubbed off on me. I have settled back a lot. So you've made me a better person.
Oh, thanks.
What else? Holly's is 1910. Yeah, old houses are cool. They also come with just problems that you can't even imagine. Because you know how we joke about people today, you go to repair a house and you find the guy, fix something with duct tape. Whatever the duct tape was of 1905, it's in these walls, horsehair and spit holding the pipes together or something.
Years and years of all those people.
Fixing things.
Like it's like this. What really needs to happen with this house is to have like everything just ripped down to the studs and start over. But even in like the bathroom is one place where I have kind of ripped everything down to the studs. Like, they're just electrical wires, not with nuts or anything on them, plastic, that just thrown into the wall. It's still plugged in, just going nowhere. They just like rolled it up and stuck it there. Like things like that all over the place in this house.
Thanks for stopping by Prep for Eternity. Have a good night.
Thanks. Is it Marisa? 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 Marisa?
I'm not sure.
I'm gonna go
You
with
just sound it
Marisa.
out for us on
Sorry.
the keyboard. We can get it right.
Thank
for
you. Old homes are cool, and if you buy one that's had someone's done a lot of that hard work and kind of ripped it down to the studs and replaced a lot of stuff and made it a little more modern, or it's been taken care of really, really well as it's gone along, that's not too bad. But if you have a house that's
Like Teresa, so Marisa. Thank you.
Marisa, okay. If you have if you have a house that has not been taken care of or has not been updated along the way, it can be quite the challenge. It's funny, 'cause, like, our bathroom, it's so awkward. The door's about, I don't know, this wide on it. It's
And it's short too.
yeah,
so.
really, like, I have to duck to get into our bathroom. If I try and walk in standing up, I'll smack my head. I have to look down when I walk into our bathroom. But, when they built the house, there was no bathroom. So they kind of borrowed a little bit from the kitchen, borrowed a little bit from a room, and borrowed a little bit under the stairs and, like, pieced all that together. Like, our bathroom's in 3 sections, basically. Our one bathroom here. It's kind of funny how you just got to kind of squeeze what you can where you can.
Anything else for tonight? Good order. I think we're gonna try to do a couple. What were we talking about every Monday night in March, just for funsies?
Yeah, try and do Monday nights. They seem like a good night. We feel like we get quite a few people on Monday nights. Felt like in the past we've tried to do like Friday or Saturday nights and stuff, but people have stuff going on. Most Monday nights people are home for the most part.
So yeah, I'm glad you didn't
missed the
work
stream.
tonight either.
Yeah.
It was good to have you here.
Yeah.
So I hear the baby crying. That's why I'm trying to wrap it up. So I think he's ready for his midnight, 8:00
Not
snack before his 10:00 snack, and then his 1:00 snack. So, all right. Thank you, everybody who came.
Yeah, we had a good group.
We'll plan on doing this again next Monday, same time, just for funsies. I don't know what we'll chat about. We'll find something good.
Yeah, we'll have to find something to talk
And
about.
check out the channel this week. There'll be that sourdough recipe up. We also have an update. We have 1 month update with Annie, kind of see what's going on since her surgery and how she's doing with that coming up. So thanks for chatting, everybody, and have a really good night, and we'll see you guys again soon in the chat.
Yeah, everybody take care. Thanks for showing up and chatting. We appreciate it.
Have a good night.
Is it here?